Warning, there are spoilers in this video, so if you haven't played the game yet, stop the video now. Link in the description. Hi everyone, this is Dolphin Treasure here, and welcome to today's little video. I am actually here with the creators of The Boss, the Glitch in the System game. This is Katie Pedno, and this is Jessica Zimmerman. Say hi, guys.
Hello. Hi, guys.
This is going to be a little bit of a different video. They were actually gracious enough to invite me to come on out here for the Glitch in the System release. So I wanted to do something a little different for the channel. I have never actually done like an interview type of session, but because I was so excited to come on out here and I was so excited for the game release, I was just like, you know what, I have to ask them some questions. I really want to know. I wanted to pick their brains a little bit, so if you guys are okay with that, I can go ahead and ask you a few questions. Sure. Awesome. Cool.
I'm totally not okay with it. That's what we said.
Well, get out of the video. What are you doing? Get out of the video. I want to start off with introducing you guys. Katie Pedno, she is the director of the games, and this is Jessica Zimmerman, the co-director. If you guys want to describe yourselves a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
You first. You were the one who started this whole thing. You got the ball rolling.
I did. I don't know what I was doing, and I'm sorry.
She's not sorry.
No, I'm not remotely. I don't really know what to say. My name is Katie. I have been writing since I could write, and telling stories since I could talk, and probably before then, but nobody could understand it. Yeah, writing is my thing. I love doing it, and I wanted to make a video game, and I didn't know anything about making video games, so I learned the hard way how to make a video game.
From scratch?
Yes, very much from scratch. Very much, and I'm still learning, so it's not perfect, but it's fun, and I just got a degree in computer gaming and simulation. I'm going on for my bachelor's in English, but I've learned a lot, and it's a lot of fun, and I love Jacksepticeye videos, but I also really wanted to do my own thing with it, and so I kind of wanted to do something really different, and so that's kind of where The Boss came from, is I wanted to kind of portray him as a person, and I guess that worked pretty well for people, so.
Absolutely. Oh, it's a wonderful game.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Miss Zimmerman?
Oh gosh, you know, it's always hard to talk about yourself when you're just like, oh, okay, I should have had something prepared. So, hi, I'm Jessica. I have a degree in broadcasting as opposed to like writing or video game related stuff. So I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm just basically a lot of creative energy going in a ton of different directions, like writing, music, artwork. So just various different outlets that I'm like, okay, well, I like doing this, I like doing that. It's all over the place, kind of.
Assistant to everything.
Yep, hence why that's assistant everything, or also behind the scenes we called it the jack of all trades role, sort of, which, you know, I mean, kind of, haha, jack. Yeah.
Pun intended.
Pun very much intended.
Puns are always intended.
Yes, exactly. So, if you saw a lot of puns in the game that you kind of hated, I'm sorry. I was kind of responsible for a good deal of those.
All her fault.
Most of them. Because Katie
had some.
Yeah, Katie had some. But if you're groaning or like really angry or want to punch your screen, that's probably my fault too. It was one of us.
It's been on the last couple streams too. Jax had to read them out loud.
I got him to read some puns out loud on stream.
Yes.
The second one, he's like, oh, okay, these are all ocean puns. I mean, they were earth puns, but close enough.
He's probably like, I hate you.
He's made his own puns. He doesn't hate you. He just doesn't intend to.
Yeah, no, it's like a papyrus situation.
Oh,
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm involved with this project because she talked me into it. And then one thing led to another, and then, oh, wow, okay, I'm second in command now. How did that happen?
I don't even know. I didn't ask you to be second in command. You just ended up second in command because you were consistently there. And
it happened. Exactly. It just happened.
Sometimes the roles just fall into place, you know, and someone has to step up, and there you go. You know?
It was meant to be.
Exactly.
It was very meant to be.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's that old saying, you know, once you do something really, really well at a job, someone's going to come to you and be like, could you do my job too? That's how that goes.
I don't have her doing my job.
No, it's...
Yet? No. I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
As long as I get billed first, it's all good.
Yeah.
As long as nobody knows I didn't do anything. I definitely did things for Glitch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just putting that out there.
I can attest. I've seen her work.
She's seen me work.
Oh yes. These two, and actually the entire team has been working their butts off to get Chapter 1 out, and it was a successful launch, so congratulations guys. We're so proud of you, and oh my gosh, it turned out like probably bigger than The Boss. What do you think?
Well, given the
So
fact
far.
that it's like 2.5 to 3 hours, this is chapter 1 of 5, and it's like more than half the size. Well, like more than half of the size of the boss already, and I'm assuming that the end will probably even be bigger than this because there's a lot of extra stuff. And the other chapters will be smaller. It'll still be well over a gigabyte. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're taking up a lot of room on your computer.
Hey, you know what? I'm totally fine with that, so. Alrighty, and for those of you who would like to follow them on their social medias, what names do you guys go by? You first.
Katie Marie 999. I'm sure there'll be a link in the description. I will give you a link via Discord.
Absolutely.
And I go by Celestial Sushi.
There you go. So if you guys want to go follow them, check those links in the description box below. So, question 1 for the both of you. How did you discover Jack's channel on YouTube?
Yeah, I have to start because it actually all connects in a really interesting way. But it starts with me, I guess. Well, actually, it'll kind of go with you, but you have to have come to the thing that made me discover Jack, but then come discover you.
It'll make sense when we explain it.
There's a lot of interconnecting, interwebbing stuff. So the year was 2016. I was snowed in. We had a huge blizzard. And a friend of mine was begging me to play this game called Undertale, and I was kind of like reluctant, because I was like, okay, I've never heard of this game before, and I, at the time, was not much of a gamer, so I was like, I'll just watch somebody play it, that'll be great. And I was going through YouTube, and I'm looking for, Let's Players, and I saw Markiplier had done one, because I knew who he was. I didn't really know him that well, because I think I watched him play Limbo before, because my sister was really into that game for a while. And I didn't feel like playing it myself. I get to this channel and there's this guy with this green hair and he's like, top of the morning to all his money, this Jacksepticeye. And I was like, nope, not this one.
Iconic.
I actually skipped through the video to see if he would ever stop talking like that loud and that obnoxiously. And like I skipped to several points in the video. I did not get the pee break, but I wish I had. And I was like, nope, not this one. And so I was like letting my friend know. She and I don't talk very much anymore. So I'm letting my friend know, like, oh, and I found this guy with the green hair, but he was really loud. And she's like, no, he's great. You gotta watch him. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, no, I swear, he's not quite that loud all the time. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. And so I watched it, and the rest is honestly history. I got really into Undertale, and I got really like I wasn't gonna subscribe to Jack, because I just watched him. I was using him for the Undertale footage. After that, I was getting bored and was like, I wonder what other stuff this guy has done. And I remember the day I subscribed, it was an Eevee video, and he had me laughing until I could not breathe. Like he was screaming at. I don't remember what it was. I think he was just like I had gone through like a binge of the Eevee videos. I still have a soft spot for those videos, and at some point she said something completely off the wall. I don't remember what it was, but his reaction to it had me laughing so hard that I literally could not breathe. You know that like, you're laughing, you have no breath left in you.
You're literally
yes. It was like that. I was like, okay, that you deserve a subscribe for that. Because I was really into Undertale, and because I had a really rare pair of Undyne and Papyrus, I was having a hard time finding art of it, and so I went on to DeviantArt and I found this one.
Well, actually, what happened was I saw this persecuted little shipping group, and I wasn't into Undyne and Papyrus at the time. I was like, oh, but you guys shouldn't be picked on for liking this. Come on, that's not fair. So I started talking to you guys, and, I saw that you had the Undyne's Forever page going, so I started, striking up a conversation with you there because I realized, oh, you don't have your inbox open. Hey, if it's an Ask blog, you should have this open, and here's the message I wanted to send. Is it alright if I submit it now? So then we just started talking back and forth. And it's funny, I had actually heard of Jack before from my brother, because he was on, this was before NeoGAF had the whole scandal that erupted and they moved on to Resetera, but this was way back in the day, and Dave was like, oh yeah, there's this YouTuber I see on NeoGAF every once in a while. I think it's like something with an eyeball. He's like, I've checked out his videos, he's kind of loud and obnoxious, so I don't really watch him. And I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't watch him either. Big mistake. But sometime later, when we were doing the whole Undertale thing, there's actually a post where we were talking about characters and whether they were right-handed or left-handed, which is a detail Toby Fox included in Undertale. And I was like,
very consistent.
I was like, oh, I don't have footage of this. Hold on a second. So I grabbed a screenshot from one of Jack's videos of him like this, and then Undyne is aiming her spear, because I didn't have that. And I'm like, okay, so here's a link to his channel. Credit goes to him for this screenshot. Go check out the video. Here's a link to that. So that was back in June before.
And I was telling you about him, and you were like, oh, my brother says he's annoying. I was like, okay, fine.
So what ended up happening was, you know, we had all these projects we were doing, and then one day you're like, hey, so I've got this idea for a video game, it won't leave me alone, but I can't art and you can. Would you please do some art for this? And I'm like, Kate, I love you, you're my friend, but that's another project, and I don't know who this YouTuber is. I mean, I'd heard of him, but... And I'm like...
We dropped all the other projects, it's good.
Yeah, so that ended up happening. And I was basically like, okay, you know what? Because of that, I will just do Undyne's face sets, and that's it. And then, like she said, the one artist quit. So I was like, you know what, for the sake of consistency, let me go ahead and do the other Undertale faces in this section, and then one thing led to another, and, well, how did I get here?
Do you have 90 minutes?
It was more like 9 months of...
Do you have 9 months? Oh God. All right, so my next question for both of you. Your team worked really hard to bring this game to life, The Glitch in the System, the chapter 1. What were some of your best achievements and hardest moments?
Oh gosh, did we ever have hard moments?
Oh boy. How about the entire production?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would say the year 2018 was the hardest one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the only like full year we were working on the game that we didn't release anything, because we were doing The Boss Is Nothing at the time. And actually, during The Boss Is Nothing production, I think the 2 months we were leading into it, we really weren't doing very much glitch, so we kind of had that shelved for a while, because we were working on The Boss Is Nothing and getting that out. I mean, we had some artists who were like doing stuff, like writing and stuff, but aside, like, we both were doing TDIN.
Yep. And then at one point...
We had people on the team. We had somebody who tried to take over the entire production as director, and their ideas were like not really compatible with ours, and so they kind of rage quit on us. And then they tried to come back, and we were like, you know, we're good. So that was a really difficult situation. We had 2 art directors, both of whom quit. I don't think the art directing thing is the problem. I would say we got very unlucky, and they had life stuff come up at the same time, and so that kind of ended up...
They really needed to take mental health breaks just for their own sanity. Take care of your mental health, it is important.
One of them was talking about coming back, so that's nice. Not as director, just coming back as an artist, which is nice, because we're still on really good terms with him. We're in good terms with both of them, actually.
Yeah.
But still. But I would say that the fact that we actually ran into a lot more technical difficulties with this game than we did with the previous one. There was the fact that we first started out the game. My data got corrupted the first time, like with my very first session making the game, so I had to go back and redo it. The second time, the game erased a bunch of my progress. I'm not sure how that happened. The third time, and then I couldn't access it again, so I had to restart. I think I started the game 4 times.
Jeez.
Wow.
And then there was a bit later with Monica where, like, it was a mapping issue. We had professionals on this, and nobody could figure out what it was until I finally figured out what it was. It was like a really tiny detail in an event that was really easily overlooked, and so we did manage to figure that out.
Oh.
It was a transfer point.
I thought you had to run it back.
I did have to run it back a little bit, because I still don't know exactly what caused it, but we found the thing that was triggering the thing that was causing everything.
Okay.
So we were able to fix that, which was nice.
But it seemed like Monica had taken over our game.
Gosh darn you, Monica. Someone just delete her, please.
Oh, jeez.
It's not yet. I got a college degree during this thing. I started college, and I started Glitch in the System in November, and I had just started college in August, so it was like the whole glitch process took until this summer, and I finished the degree this summer. I wasn't allowed to release anything until I was a professional.
Well, it's amazing how you were able to balance out between going to school and getting this
Why do you
project
think it took
completed.
this long?
I know, I can,
and then there's also the fact that a lot of the early ideas we had for the sequel we decided not to go with, and so I had to come up with an entirely new story, and we were talking with the team about it, and it's like, okay guys, throw us your ideas, and nobody had any ideas. I was like, okay, I guess we'll just try to, figure it out little by little. You did help a lot with...
I was gonna say,
you helped a lot more with the details. I think I was more of the big picture, but you were like, okay, here's some connections and stuff, and...
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a detail person than
I'm more of a big picture person, so we work really well together because of that, because I'm like a very big picture person. You'll be like, oh, this works, but this works, and we can put these little details in. Then when you start getting going on it, I start getting going on it, so we kind of keep each other creative, I think, and because we have very different types of creativity, but they balance well.
Probably some of the high points, because you mentioned the low points. The high points, I would say, we're just seeing it all come together. Other high points, I would say, are some of the individual works that came in, some of the pictures and artwork that came in are so gorgeous, and it's just seeing that come together, and just thanking the artists and seeing how happy they are to have contributed something is another high point.
We periodically will play the game for capture it and then just like make a private video and then show everybody on the team. So
to see
it's always really cool to see them react and be like, oh, that's my art!
and to just be like, oh my gosh, it looks so great coming together like this.
And another high point is we got a new programmer, and some of the stuff she has done is incredible. I can't tell you any more than that, but it's incredible. That's why we had to put that disclaimer at the beginning that there's some stuff that's in there that's atypical of RPG Maker games, but not to worry because your computer is safe, because that. Because there's some programming magic involved.
Jacksepticeye, he was introduced to the first game, The Boss, and he actually played it on his channel. Can you guys tell us about what you were feeling in that moment he posted the first episode?
Panic.
Oh boy!
Raw panic.
For me, it was more just like, I guess, frenzied excitement because I was like, I knew it was coming. Actually, it was funny. The first time he acknowledged the game, I was sitting at work. It was like the middle of December. I remember I was talking to you.
Yeah, he was live streaming, and you were like, yeah, he might mention it. I was like, I don't think he's gonna do it. And literally 5 minutes later,
within the next 5 minutes, he mentioned it. I was like, all caps. I'm like, Katie! I could barely type. I'm like, he's gonna play on the stream.
I'm pretty sure the fan server just exploded. Like, I suddenly got a bunch of tags in the fan server.
They were like, Katie, he mentioned it.
The Tumblr was going nuts. I look at the game jolt and like the download spiked.
So then seeing him trying to play it on the January charity live stream for 2018 was awesome, and it was really cool that he tried to play it. There were technical difficulties, obviously, so he apologized profusely and said, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to put this into a video series, which honestly
It was too long for the stream.
Oh, it would have been too long for the stream, so it actually turned out better this way. But at the same time, we're like, oh no, you're a sweetheart for even trying in the first place, so thank you so much.
He made us wait 3 months.
That's okay. There was a little bit of the anxious, waiting kind of stuff, but at the same time, it was still amazing to see it all just happen.
Absolutely.
And I remember, and I know I told you guys about this, but the day the 5th chapter came out, where I have the role as GLaDOS, I was like standing in a half-price books, and suddenly, my phone buzzes for the notification, and it says like, I know that voice, the boss part 5. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Gotta go buy.
I just I didn't have anything I was gonna buy anyways, so I was just like, nope, I'm out. And I just headed home and watched it as soon as I could.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You were great. I was the Turrets and she was GLaDOS, and I'm pretty sure you thought the same person was both, but you know what, whatever,
I loved your voice as the Turrets. Ow, 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 ow. That was really adorable.
Down.
That was adorable.
I was pitched up, so I don't sound that cute in real life.
So I know you guys had to wait quite a while, for him to play the game and everything. But of course, we understand he's a YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
He gets busy. He has different projects that he likes to do and take over for and stuff like that. So, but you guys did get a chance to meet him in real life.
We did.
What was he like in person?
An absolute sweetheart.
Oh, very, very wonderful. He hugged me before I was ready, but I recovered very fast.
Yeah, it was like,
you can see it in the video. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a hug now, okay.
Basically I was trying to get the camera right, because I was using my phone for it, so I'm holding it, and I'm just trying to get around somebody, and then I just heard him go, "You're the creator? Dude!" And he just throws his arms around her.
It's amazing.
He's like, "Thank you so much." And I'm like,
so nice.
I was like, oh my gosh, it was probably a mutual fangirling session.
I was gonna say,
it totally was the way he acted. I think whilst we were leaving, he was like, I can't believe I got to meet you guys. It was so sweet.
There was all this energy just kind of cycling.
See, we could tell he was tired because it was the very end of the signing. He'd been standing for 3 hours, and so he was tired. He wasn't not happy to be there. It was really obvious that he was so excited to meet everybody, but you could kind of tell he was tired. And as soon as he found out we were the team of the boss, he perked right up and was like, "Oh my gosh, it's you guys!" So, I think that kind of gave him a second wind of energy. At least I don't know if that was an observation we made afterwards.
He was just incredibly sweet, very, very attentive, and just listening to those things we had to say to him, and just sharing his little bits and pieces from having seen maybe half the game-ish, or
it was a little
2/3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got back from the second area, and I have to say, the stuff that I noticed while we were in the line is that when you go off and meet him, he really gives you his full attention, completely full attention. I was watching him with all these other people, and he just zones in on you. It's really interesting to watch because he's just so nice, and he's just so he's just so there in the moment. He just really cares about what you have to say.
He loves meeting people.
He does. He's very extroverted. So
definitely,
it pushes the point of just how genuine he really is.
He is very genuine. He's very sweet, very excited.
Yeah. He's a bouncing ball of energy, basically.
He is. It was really cute seeing with the kids too, because there were a couple of kids in the line, and I was like kind of, because we're talking to each other, but I was kind of like looking over, you know, every so often, because it was weird. I was in the same room as him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's there.
Here's the big hair.
It's kind of surreal.
It is a bit surreal. It is a bit surreal, because I was like, it's you. It's a real person. And you've got the same voice and everything.
Oh my gosh, you're really, wait, what? Poke? Are you real Poke?
I didn't have to poke. He just hugged me. 2 days before the show, and he was all tiny on that stage.
Yeah, it's so far away. It's like,
Got my binoculars.
Yeah, it was really cool. He asked me if I was in his house watching him.
nice.
I kept predicting what he was about to say, and I was like, no, you put enough videos on YouTube, it became very easy.
Yep. It's like, we can see everything, so.
He threatened to eat her present.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The bounce balls.
But he did it wrong. He ended up shoving it up his nose, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
We don't shove bounce balls up any orifice, anything.
No.
They are not for ingesting in any way.
At all.
No, please don't. We do end up referencing the bounce balls in the game, so that is like, it's very much, the item in the game is very much based on the actual jar. If you
It looks just like it, yeah.
If you end up watching our playthrough for the channel, then you'll see it. I'm holding a similar one. It's not the same one I gave him, obviously, but, you know, I had like a second that I filled with other bounce balls, so it's practically the same. Practically.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to meet him one day. What is your favorite moment in Chapter 1 for Glitch in the System?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's Chapter 1 spoilers, we've already pretty much said it was going to be in
Pretty
here,
much.
so
You've been warned.
my favorite moment.
There's so many little moments that I really like.
There's a lot of little moments. I don't want to like specifically pick something, but I do want to say the Bioink area was definitely my favorite.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You can kind of tell if you see how much detail was put in there. It's like, I think I went a little overboard.
No, because I kind of left you in charge of that one mostly, because you had, like, because we already knew how we were going to write for Schneep, but you kind of just took it and made it your own, and I was like, okay, you need to, like, write all of his dialogue, because everything you're writing is hilarious. And she wrote the entire book. The entire book of pills. That was all her.
Diagnosis for dumbasses. It was just beautiful how it turned out.
You got it off of dumbasses.com. Pretty much.
It's like for dummies, but for people who are even dumber than that.
He's a dummy. Yeah. He's a double dummy.
For dummies and for the dumbasses. The dummies teaching the dumbasses.
My goodness.
That actually fits.
But yeah, just that whole scene, it was a lot of fun to write, so I feel like that in of itself, I'm gonna say that's my entire favorite moment
There you go.
of the game. With big quotation marks.
There's so many little things, and it's like a lot of it is fun value related, so I don't know, because like we have that thing that's like randomized stuff, so the game's a little different every time you play it. So a lot of that stuff is like based on that, because like there's the laugh board. I'm really happy with how that came out, because I animated that. Because if you get a certain value, his board will say laugh, and there's literally an animation that just has him walk up to it, smack it, and go laugh. And I animated that because I really wanted to put that in, but like none of the artists were available. I was like, I wonder if I can do this, and I did. So it may not look that great, but it's there.
It turned out great.
Yeah, I love the chase scene. I love how it came together. I think it's really epic and cool, and I love that I used the Dragon's Lair sound effects. I love that I was able to get the Dragon's Lair sound effects, even though nobody's gonna get the joke. Because it's an old 80s arcade game, but I love it, and it has a lot of QTEs, so I kind of threw that sound effect for the QTEs in. A lot of the music was really, really good. I love the Slime Rancher music. I love the Bioink music. I love the Detroit Become Human music. It's all so... I don't really have a favorite part. I love
Pretty much a lot of
There's a lot of
stuff,
things
yeah.
that I like less than...
Well, it's
I'm
alright.
not as into like the Jack's apartment. I could never get the opening right, and like I'm fine with how it is now.
Now, speaking of the music, on to the next question actually. For Sushi, when you are writing your music, or when you were writing the music for the game, what was there to help with your inspiration?
Well, for some of the pieces, it was like the original music from the games themselves.
Okay.
Like in the case of the Slime Rancher music. Well, actually, with that one first, I was just like, okay, something that sounds kind of Western, which is what ultimately turned into the cave theme from the Slime Rancher section.
Okay.
But then I actually went, and I know I should have. I was so stupid. I didn't listen to the soundtrack first. I should have, and I've learned my lesson. Go listen to the inspiration music first.
Okay.
Oh no, we got two versions of the girl on the wall.
Oh,
in
no.
the system.
Anyway, so what happened was I was listening to that and I'm like, no, I should make it sound like the ranch theme. So that was my inspiration for like the main area music, and I was like, okay, no, I can make this sound closer to the original. For the Bioink music, that was basically me just listening to the 2 songs. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna try to take the theme from the emergency room in Bioink, which is, you know, very, like,
Intense.
and very much in a minor key, and turn it into a major key and make it sound like it came from 2 Point Hospital. So I was listening to music for that, and I don't have the exact sounds, but I think I got it pretty close.
Okay.
And I just threw in a couple other themes because I was like, well, what else do I add to this? Aha! Who are some of the big players in this? And went from there. And I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. And then for some of the other stuff, it's more just like original concepts, like especially if it's an area that doesn't have like too much other inspiration, like the Wireland City theme. And that one was actually an older piece. I mean, kind of like how Toby, for some things in Undertale, used older pieces of his, just kind of like breathe new life into them. Heartbite of a City was actually an old Vocaloid song that I had written and was going to like put online at some point, but it was very much EDM kind of thing. So what I ended up doing was I took the Vocaloid tracks out and stuck in just some piano melodies and stuff. Like, the actual melody of the original song is now in there in piano, and then I just added, like, you wanted the harmonies for some other songs in there, so
Yeah,
I'm like,
the Wireland theme is in there.
yep, the Wireland theme is in there, and so is little bits from Dudes of Beast, because, like, in the other games we had All the Way stuck in, but yeah, there is a little bit of Dudes of Beast in there, just because I'm like, oh, that's the current Shmoyoho song.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to call it the current one. The regular part of the melody was the original melody for the song. Plus, like, the second section is like, okay, I need to write something new for this. But yeah, no, the original lyrics were Japanese and a love song, so it's like, okay, well, we'll just use this anyway.
I have a question, because the girl in the wall was so popular, maybe you should go into the process behind that one.
Yes,
because
please.
that is
Oh,
like
gosh.
that's the song everybody seems to just love.
I'm trying to remember if there was a process for that one. It just...
I remember
I
you
sat
sending
down-
it to me and me just loving it.
Yeah,
So-
I don't remember if I even had a process for it. I was just sitting down writing something that I thought sounded nice. I can't say where my inspiration comes from necessarily because it just happens. Like, I'm just sitting down, I'm like, well, what if I try making these notes sound like this? In the case of the collapsing house, it was me just wanting to write something crazy. So just going in and saying, well, what if I tried this? Oh, that works. Let me try adjusting these notes. Because, like, I don't actually sit down and play this on a piano. I'm just writing the MIDI notes into my computer and then letting the synthesizer, like, play it and then hearing how that sounds. So there are some songs I have not played on piano. I have played The Girl in the Wall on piano. I would say I did have a little bit of inspiration, like, in the back of my head from this one song by Tune Up, I think, called Feel Fine, and I know I've shared it with you. It's like a dance song.
Yeah,
There's a couple
I hear
of parts that sound a little similar, but it's not like directly.
It's completely different sound to it though. It's like similar tune, but like in a completely different instrument, and a completely different like setting kind of thing. It doesn't feel like the same song like at all. And didn't you share it with like some ladies group at your church or something? I remember you mentioning this.
Oh
They
yeah,
liked it.
no,
They were your first audience.
Yeah, no, we had like a rosary making group in our house, and they were just like, oh, this is really nice, and they didn't know. I mean, they don't know who Jack is, or like. Well, I mean, they do because I've talked their ears off about him. So, but yeah, no, they didn't know who he was at the time. They were like, oh, video games, okay, that's nice. I mean, it's not their set of interests, but they were still supportive, and they thought the song was really pretty. So even the non-video game audience thinks it's pretty, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank you guys. That's so sweet of you
I
all.
think you sent it to them before you let me hear, and I was like, I absolutely love this. Please finish it.
Okay.
One thing I remember is that I told you was that you had the da 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 da. You had it played like over and over and over again. I was like, can we have like a bridge section? And so you went back to it and you wrote that pretty bridge section at the end of the song.
Yeah, the second half of
And
the,
I love that. So
second half of it. I've noticed my music tends to repeat. Like, I'll play something twice, and then I'll move on to another section, play that twice.
yeah,
I don't know.
but the
it's-
bridge worked. I'm glad that you went back to it.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Because I really love it.
Thank you.
And now, Miss Katie, for you, what was your process for developing the dialogue of the game?
Clicking on things and being like, well, I wonder what they would say about this.
Nice, I love it. So just like ad-libbing.
Except for the important, yeah, there honestly is. Like, it's all ad libs. Are we talking about both games, or are we just talking about Glitch? Because there's stuff I have from Glitch that was planned out. Like, a lot of the Jack Sean was written well in advance because we wanted to, like, get it perfect, and it was just, like, tweaked and polished until it was beautiful. The Screw You Billy was the first line. It was, I don't think I had like the wording in my head, but the whole like I don't want to do the long drawn out goodbye to say what you always say to me, screw you Billy, screw you too Jack. That was the first bit of dialogue I ever developed for the boss.
Nice.
Like, when I was coming up with the idea and like, oh, I want Billy to be kind of a good guy, like how are they gonna say goodbye? And then I was like, oh, screw you Billy, that should be their goodbye, and we should make people cry over that.
Screw you too, Billy. That's his way of saying I love you, Billy.
Yeah, and I still think that's like one of the best pieces of writing I've ever done, because I love that, like, I don't want to like brag about it or anything.
No, please, this is your time.
Yeah, but I think that why I love that scene so much is because it doesn't work unless you've played the game up until then and you've gotten to see the relationship between Jack and Billy, and like it would have taken writing the relationship well to make that scene work well. And since so many people loved it and so many people said that made them cry or like got them all emotional, I don't know if it made you cry or
It did a little. I'm not gonna lie, it did make me tear up a little bit because there was a lot of development with their relationship throughout the whole game. So it just made it all that more impactful. The way that they had to say goodbye to each other. It was, it was just like if Billy was a real person or a real character in real life, and he was literally a pain in the ass for Jack, then that is exactly how I would imagine them saying goodbye to each other after such a grand adventure.
Yeah. For some reason, my mental image of him was like as a teenager, and I just could not shake the mental image, and it was constantly creating some kind of weird creative dissonance. And then Alina sends me those faces, and like, are these good? I was like, okay, I know who he is now.
Oh, that's awesome.
The entire personality came out of those 8 faces.
That's amazing.
We have more. We have one that I wish we'd had in the first game because it's the best, most judgmental face you'll ever see.
Yeah, he's like...
Is he sneering? Like
We actually didn't get that face from someone. We used a bunch of face sets to create that face. And then I was trying to do it myself, and then I was like, okay, I don't know art enough. So I had you move the eyes from the side to the front of the face and stare at the camera. And I was like, please make it look like Billy is judging you for all of your sins. And it does. For the important dialogue and all that stuff, sometimes that's planned in advance. Sometimes it's like just me coming up with it as I go and then going back and tweaking it. So, and then for a lot of the flavor text, it's just me being weird. Like if you look at that Lancer and Flowey stuff, it was 4 a.m. when we came up with that stuff. So that's why a lot of it is just very weird.
Which is why these guys have been working really, really hard to get it all done. They've been like working nonstop, sometimes not even getting enough sleep. Like, you need sleep.
Yeah, I know.
Last night. Only for 2 hours? No, I'm kidding.
It's like, trust me, I want sleep. It's just...
We had a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And going to that emotional aspect from the boss and also into the glitch a little bit, let's see, that there was that beautiful message at the ending of the first game, the boss, which I cried my eyes out. So I was like, yeah, I actually had to take a step back or like sit back from the camera. I'm like, hold on a second, I gotta pat my eyes. It was so touching and so heartwarming. So I wanted to ask, and this is for both of you, what was the particular reasoning for that message? Like, what inspired you to make it for everybody? Like,
I mean, it's not really my side of the story because she did the writing for this, but I think it has to do with the whole reason why the game came to fruition in the first place.
Okay. It does. So I had the idea to do it, and there were a lot of catalysts during the development of the game that made me write it the way I did. But I knew I wanted to do something like that. Like when I was looking over like the very early ideas, because the day I was coming up with all this stuff in my head, I was like, I'm messaging my sister. I'm like, guess what I have? Another idea for something. I'll never make it, but let me tell you everything. And so I was reading that over again, and I could see where a lot of the stuff kind of came out of it. Like this was literally the first idea. I think I sent it to her October 6th, 2016. And for reference, we started the game on November 12th. So this is the earliest thing I could find that I wrote about it. At the very end, I was going to have it where Sean was kind of more of a villain character. He was like everything that all of Jack's like negative thoughts were gonna like come together and like, be a lot more aggressive. Kind of more like what Auntie is doing in this game. That was gonna be more what Sean was doing in the previous game. It's different. There are distinct differences between the two, but like, it's more, I guess the Sean character was going to be more similar to the Auntie character we have now. Kind of aggressive and kind of like, because your negative thoughts can really like pound you. Yeah. So that was kind of more what I was going to do. And then my friend misunderstood my idea when I was telling her about it. She's like, oh, I thought he was just the negative side of the channel and just like the inner turmoil and emotions. And like, oh, that's like actually better. He's kind of split into these two characters as opposed to like this rogue you know, creation based on his, like, negativity. But I had this idea that at the very end of the game that Jack was going to get knocked down and just be unable to do it, and he was going to call out to the player by name, and then ask for their help, and the player's, like, actions were going to be the one who kind of defeated the Sean character.
Oh, that's cool.
And that, you know, one thing led to another, and that turned into the scene with the lights. So that was kind of the early version of that. And then I was going to have a scene with Jack thanking the player for helping him. A lot of stuff that I want to go into happened during the production of the game, because I had cut that bit with the, you know, thank you, you know, so-and-so. And at the time I was like, I had the name thing still in there, because I had, you know, started it out with that in mind, and I had a joke in the escapist section with your name, Big Swagerson Correctional Facility, and that's it. That was the only thing I had. And I was like, oh, maybe I should delete this, but a lot of stuff happened, and I was like, you know what, I want to keep the same kind of basic idea that I had, to have Jack, you know, talk to the player, but I'm going to do it in a different way, and so thought a lot about it, and I put it at the very end because I realized there really wasn't a place in the game that was really going to fit it. But then I wrote it during a time where I was when it was a message that I needed to hear, and so I basically, what I did was in one go, I don't think I ever edited it once. In one go, I wrote the entire thing, just like line by line by line. I think I may have, you know, done some spelling corrections, but I literally didn't edit a word of it. This is everything I want to be told, or everything I want to believe, and, you know, be told about myself, and things that I think that other people will probably need to hear at this time. And I just wrote it out in a moment of emotion, and then I didn't really think much about it, because I wrote it out. I don't think many people saw it, because you would have had to have the build to see it. The playtesters didn't see it, nobody saw it, and like I just kind of threw it out there, and then I forgot it existed. Like I forgot it was there. For a long time, and then people were starting to bring it up, like, oh, this is my favorite part of the game, or like that part really got to me. And it's like, oh, that's right. I forgot. Like, I knew it was there. I knew it was there from the testing, and you knew it was there. But and you know, I kept it in, but it wasn't like, I didn't know it was going to hit people that hard. I guess I didn't think it was going to be that powerful.
I'm tearing up just thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't remember what the question is anymore.
That's okay. It sounds like it was pretty much just like a stream of consciousness.
It was actually, honestly.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I would edit a few words, just like, just kind of make it, because there you can see the roughness. Like I said, I never edited it, so there's definitely a lot more roughness to that than there is for a lot of the other dialogue. Because it is very much a stream of consciousness. It was me very much writing out my feelings and my emotions, and kind of like, okay, here's what I want to hear right now. I'm going to put it into Jack's mouth, and, you know, have him say it. And I wrote it the way that because he'll say stuff like that in his videos.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wrote it with the way he says that kind of stuff in mind. So I tried to make it sound like him. But I kind of imagined him saying that to me, and like, how would that make me feel? How would he say it? That kind of thing. I don't know. I wanted it to feel like Jack is actually talking to you.
I think that alone, like, just probably had the most impact on the people who played the game and finished it all the way through, got to that message. And she actually made a compilation video of people of Let's Players, I should say, that got to that point, and she just made a compilation of all the reactions. I can leave a link in the description box for you guys to go check that out too.
I gave you the end of that video too.
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about it.
I did. I went on a stream of conscious talking.
Yeah.
You know.
So I put that at the end. I thought it was a good ending. So I put that at the end.
I blubbered like a baby, but you know. But that was a really good video. Everything compiled together, and that just like brought back the nostalgia from it, or not the nostalgia. That just brought back like the memory from it when I was playing it. And because it was like intended to be Jack talking to the player, and people who've played the game really look up to him, they really find an inspiration in him, within him, but they also know at the same time that he's a human, you know, he's just like us, you know, like you and me, and you know, it's like, yeah, he's actually saying that, you know, like to me, to us, you know, to the people who are playing it. It just made it all that more emotional for me when I played it. So
it's funny that he felt emotional, like reading it from himself.
Yes,
that was kind of weird for me, because I felt like he was really taking the words to heart from himself, even though he knew it was from us. And so I that moment is very dear to me too, because it's like I got to say something to him that apparently he really needed to hear. And I will say, glitch in the system. You know what? I've told people this. There are 3 different routes in glitch in the system. There's one for Billy, Cliff, and Jenny. All 3 of them have a slightly different version of that. There's something a little different in each one, so I kind of wanted to, you know, give it a bit of different, I don't know, you know, kind of.
Yeah,
a different variation.
And a lot of it is,
yeah.
and it's, again, a lot of it is based off of stuff that all of us kind of went through. A lot of this, the team went through a lot of the same stuff, and so we kind of embody that in the three characters and like what they're struggling with, what they're going, you know, what they're doing, what they're, all that stuff.
It just
I
makes it
feel like this game would not have been possible if not for the development hell, ironically, because a lot of the development hell inspired some of the stuff, like the sadder elements of the game that, you know, you haven't seen yet, but
Yeah.
they're coming.
Well, that just makes it all that more relatable because there are people out there that might be able to empathize or to sympathize with the characters in the game because, yeah, depending on what the situation is, they could be like, oh yeah, I've gone through that too. I know exactly what that feels like. So that even creates a more, you know, powerful experience for the player. Final question for you guys. Do you have any advice for any indie game developers?
Keep at it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it.
Coding is hard. Try with RPG Maker. That's a really good like catalyst kind of test to see if you like, if you really want to do it. RPG Maker is easy enough to learn that if you really want to do it, you can. Making a game is hard. It's a very long process. Like you know, when you first start out in the game, I think everybody does this with any project. They're like imagining what people are going to think about it and all that stuff, and then you actually get into it and you realize, oh my gosh, this is taking such a long time. So it takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of stubbornness. We had one person, I will not say who it was, we had one person for the boss who kind of saw that was seeing like our team stuff, and they told us later, like way after the fact, that they didn't think we were going to finish it.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, well, because they'd had experience working with other fan game teams, and apparently, like a lot of the other teams that were having the similar issues we had gave up.
Oh.
So it takes stubbornness. It takes like it's a commitment. You have to be like, we're going to finish this. We're not going to cancel it. We are going to finish this.
Yes.
You know,
We surprised them though, so that was cool.
Hell yeah, you guys did. I was gonna
Surprise
say.
everyone!
Woo! Well, do you guys have any closing statements, or else I can just go ahead and give my outro?
I guess just thank you for playing. If you haven't played it, what are you doing here? Go play it.
Links, all the links down in the description below, including my Discord channel as well as their Discord channel. So if you guys want to come on and join, we will be glad to welcome you there. And I wanted to thank you guys for letting me do this interview with you. This is my first interview ever. I've never done this on the channel before, so I know it's going to be kind of wonky, but that's okay.
Thank you for interviewing us.
Oh man, not a problem. I've wanted to. Like I had these questions just bubbling in my head, so I'm like, oh, I want to get it out there. So, alrighty, and I also want to thank you all for joining us today. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to go subscribe to these beautiful people right here. Don't forget to play their game. And thank you so much again for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's little video. Don't forget to do awesome, be awesome, and stay awesome. And we will see you all in the next video. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.